if you talk to me about DNA testing for our children, it's a big ground for divorce. I want to believe they are social media banters. I really want to believe that the things that these men discuss on Twitter or Instagram, they don't actually apply it in real life, because those are grounds. Like some women who go extreme to say those are grounds for divorce during the dating phase is something that has to be brought up. But are you like, you don't have anything else to talk about? Because the ones I'm seeing on social media defending this rubbish, like I just can't. Is it cruel to say that Nigerian men actually deserve the paternity fraud that is coming to them? Because man, the PR that Nigerian women are getting so far on social media, it's too much. It's too much. We need to delve into this matter. It feels like Nigerian women are defenseless. They call you insensitive, they gaslight you, they try to tell you how to feel. There are women who have come out to say, oh, if you talk to me about DNA testing for our children, it's a big ground for divorce. And see, I'm not here to cut corners. We're going to delve right in. You guys know, opinionated, unpopular opinions strictly. Anyway, guys, welcome to the Talk to Me Nice podcast. This is the first episode, and yeah, man, oh man, this has been, I actually promised you guys that towards the end of this month, I'm going to release the first episode. Although the devil had his plans and my camera just pafokain at the last minute, we're here. Although the video quality is not what you expected, but my work rate is give it to them. The quality over everything, you know, the quality of the content, obviously. What you guys know me for, which is talking. There is no vlogging here, so you might as well play this as you're washing up something, as you're cleaning up, as you're driving. It's a podcast, it's a chit chat. We're here to talk, and you're here to watch and also to comment or not watch, if that's the case for you. But yeah, let's delve into this matter. Why is social media just on fire? The Nigerian social media community, I don't want to say social media community, is on fire. This has been on and off. It's been an on and off topic. It doesn't die. Since the inception of social media, I feel like there's been that battle when it comes to Nigerian men, Nigerian women. There has been cases where DNA testing has been brought up, and it's quite a sensitive one for the women. And I'm going to dissect it in this video, why it is such a big and huge topic for us Nigerian women, at least for most of us, and how to go about it if you're married. Even if you're not, but you have kids for somebody, how to go about it. If you're not married, if you're thinking of entering into this institution that I've been in for 5 years, man, oh man, it's been 5 years, man, 5 years, yeah. How to go about discussing this with your partner, how to bring up the topic, how to go about DNA testing. We're going to be discussing everything here. Why not? Anyway, the reason why this has it's become a thing now to debate over on Twitter, Instagram, and whatnot within the Nigerian community is the fact that this Mohbad's case is still pending. If you don't know who Muad is, please, I don't want to go into details here. Mohbad. You can Google it and get the story on how this young man's life was cut short. And the man in question had a child and a girlfriend or a wife, I don't know, but there was a woman in his life with his child, which he saw and acknowledged as his child before dying. I mean, the whole thing about Mohbad was, how will I explain this? I don't want to delve into the case because it's still such a sensitive topic for most people. There are people who are speculating. There are people who are giving opinions. There is no justice hasn't been done yet, at least not yet as of the time I'm recording this. So people have different things that they think about the whole case. And during the lifetime of this young man called Mohbad, in my own opinion, the man never talked about the wife, the child, or whatsoever. He specifically banked on one thing and one thing alone. There are people who are after my life, hold this person or certain persons responsible if I'm gone. And the whole movement of justice for Mohbad, I felt should have been centered around what this young man kept on banging about during his time here on earth, at least towards his last days. He made songs about literally a lot of things that he was going through. Suddenly, after his death, a lot of things, the way he died, the way everything went on, people started putting one or two together. A lot of influencers who aren't lawyers started swaying the public opinions with, their influence. They were just giving unsolicited opinions and dishing out takes, which led to the wife being asked to come out with a DNA test to prove that the child that she has for Mohbad is actually his. How we diverted from justice for Mohbad and just the whole thing that the young man was clamoring for when he was alive, to now facing the woman and, bringing the innocent child, DNA testing. It just gave the whole justice for Mohbad movement a different turn altogether. I mean, it caused so much division because of the opinions and takes and all of that. But I don't want to delve into that. Like I said, the topic of today is, why is DNA testing such a sensitive topic for Nigerian women? At least for most Nigerian women. Why is it that when on social media, Nigerian men are like, you have to talk to your wife about testing or doing this paternity testing, blah, blah, blah. Most Nigerian women feel the need to defend and say, I mean, the day you bring that up, it means you're asking for divorce. Literally, you're asking for divorce. First off, I'm not against paternity testing. If you want to do DNA testing as a man, feel free. Do it. I mean, to justify your conscience or whatsoever reservations you have, go ahead and do it. But we need to discuss in depth why this is such a sensitive topic for Nigerian women, for most Nigerian women, especially at least for those women or those Nigerian women who defend it on social media and say blah, 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 blah. If you're not aware, the statistics for paternity fraud in Nigeria is alarming. I mean, we're the second highest with this whole paternity fraud thing. So there is a likelihood, 30% of Nigerian men are fathering children that are not theirs. It is scary. It's a scary number. For men to wake up now and start demanding and start openly having these discussions, it's necessary with the statistics that we're seeing. It's actually necessary. And on social media, from the comments I've read so far, the majority of women are holding on to, what if the baby was switched at birth? If you're not aware, you've never lived in Nigeria, or you don't know how Nigerian government hospital settings are set up. The public sector obviously is more accessible than the private sector. We have over 200 million Nigerians living in Nigeria. The chances of a baby being swapped is real. It's not just in movies. I believe it happens. I believe there are chances of it happening. For a lot of women to be holding on to that, I'm not negating how they feel. I'm not negating that happens, but I'm going to share a few reasons why your child as a man may not really be your child, or why women commit this whole paternity fraud whatsoever. This is not a justification for paternity fraud. It's unfair. It's an unfair thing to do to a man, to have a man raise or believe that the child I'm spending on, the child I'm raising, the child I'm giving my time, the energy, I'm passing down a whole lot of things that I feel like I need to be passed down to the next gen, finding out that the child or the children I'm passing my knowledge, my effort, my everything to, they're not really mine. It's the worst form of cruelty. It's the worst form of betrayal that you can do to a man if you're a woman. It's the worst form of disloyalty. Men are providers. Let's face facts. Most men are providers. When I mean providers, it's not just in the sense of finances. They feel masculine in a family or in their home to be able to give, whether it's their time, whether it's their effort, whether it's their money, whatsoever giving means to them. That's what most men's ego are built on. That's what most men pride on. So For a man to wake up one morning, conduct a DNA test, and find out that the child that he's been doing all of that for years, is truly not his. It can shatter a man for life. It's something that you can't joke with. I don't want to go into the psychology of it, but there are some reasons, like I said, women tend to do this. First off, I would defend Nigerian women anytime, any day. I'm Nigerian, and I would defend my kind anytime, any day. I'm not saying all Nigerian women, most of us. I would defend most of us. Why? Culturally, when it comes to home training, when it comes to whether you feel like, oh, you grew up in a broken home, or you grew up in a home that had it all, or you grew up in a poor background, middle class, rich, most Nigerian families breed their women or train their women to value family, to value marriage. That one is the bedrock. No matter how woke we've gone, or no matter how Western ideologies have infiltrated into the Nigerian system or Nigerian community, I feel like you can't take away that core value that most families bring or give to female kids or female children. They start from when you're little. The moment you start knowing, left from right, you can talk, you can understand basic things. They start preparing you that one day you'll be in a man's house. You need to learn how to cook. You need to learn how to do things. Like, all our adult lives, we've been programmed, not just within the homes, even within the society. Every gesture, every remark, everything that exudes when it comes to how a woman should act, how a woman should behave, how a woman should do things, it has to be proper. You can't just be wayward. There is accountability to some degree, no matter how woke you've gotten, or no matter how woke the society has gotten. They tend to be, who trained you? Who is your mother? You don't know. You don't talk to me like that. I have your type at home. The type, the mannerisms, the way they talk to you, the gestures, everything is family, home, marriage, man. It's there. And I love it. I love it to some degree. I love it because to some degree, with all the wokeism that has had to happen, feminism, all of that has been introduced into Nigeria, the reason why we haven't gone full-blown West is because of this core culture. I would say the family-oriented culture, the importance that it's given, family, marriage, and all of that. So long as it's still there, so long as the value is still there to some degree, I feel like we still have a chance in future to preserve whatever we have now as our different cultures. Most women have been programmed to know that you're being set up for marriage. Everything you do is to prepare you for a man. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are women who grow out of that. There are families who don't bother to put that sort of pressure on their kids. Things have changed. I can't speak for all, but most, I would say a majority of Nigerian homes, the female children are prepared for marriage from their teenagehood up until adulthood. There is that pressure on women to have it right, to keep their home. In fact, you get blamed whatsoever that happens within the Nigerian society when it comes to marriage. You're to blame. Even if your man is messing up, nobody sees that. If your man cheats, you're to blame. You're not you're not serving him well. You're not serving him properly. If in a few years there is no child in sight, after a wedding, no child, no children, nothing, it's the woman. Nobody questions the man. To the Nigerian society, male infertility does not exist. Everything has to be the woman. So the pressure for a lot of things, I mean, this is no excuse for paternity fraud. I'm just saying there are some reasons why paternity fraud occurs in the Nigerian society, and I'm going to be listing a few. And if you have any ideas, or if you know some, you can also share in the comments. But yeah, there is that pressure on women to sustain, to keep, to do everything to make the marriage work. So even if the man is infertile, woman just has to be blamed. You're the barren one. You're the one who cannot give us a child. Even if the man probably traveled abroad and maybe the woman is in Nigeria, and there is that long distance for years and years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. The man is not even coming back. The woman is expected to just keep the marriage going. There are so many instances that pressure, that societal pressure has been imposed on Nigerian women. And that is where I have actually come to the defense of Nigerian women. The pressure to stay in a marriage, the pressure to keep your marriage, the pressure to make your marriage work is real. And that pressure can translate to a whole lot of things that many men do not understand. So, for instance, number one of the reasons why I feel paternity fraud is a thing in Nigeria is a case where infertility is blamed only on the woman. If there is no child forthcoming in a marriage, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years gone, no child in sight, the woman has gone for different tests, done everything, prayed, blah, blah, blah. It may even be the case that the woman is perfectly fine. Because most men don't even concern themselves, or they don't even want to be bothered, or they don't even want to be told that they are the problem. There are cases like that. This is not to justify anything. You see women doing what they need to do to bring in or to just eliminate that shame. Because let's face it, the person that bears the shame or the mockery or the pressure of not having a child in a marriage is sadly the woman. And we see in most cases in Nigerian society where the women just have to do what they need to do. And like I said, this is not to justify what is happening. Number two, there are instances where this was a debate a few years ago everywhere on social media that most women or most Nigerian women do not marry who they love. They marry who is ready. And that is fact. I mean, why bully women, or why talk down on women, or why come and still exert the pressure after exerting the pressure all through their teenage years, all through their adulthood, that you have to find somebody. I mean, you're preparing them for this man, for this home, for this family, for them to be good cooks, to tidy up the home, to look after children, to serve their in-laws, to do this, to do that. And then their early years where, no matter how much we want to argue this, the biology of men and women are totally different. I mean, I've done this video before in the past on popular opinion, which had me dragged on this YouTube street, where I talked about why marriage is an achievement. And I discussed a whole lot in that video. Women and men are different. No matter how much things have changed, technologies have been introduced, a lot of things, you can't take away that most women's fertile years start as early as their early 20s until God knows. So most women like to capitalize on their youth. Look at the society. How many men you want your daughters to eventually go into a family to be provided for whilst they do their dutiful duty as wives? To showcase, I mean, all their lives, you've programmed them for this family life. And then you now still expect them that in their early 20s, where young men of 2021, they said that most women, their frontal cortex or whatsoever, their brain don't develop until 25. What do you think the age is for men? For men, it's 28, 29. Most young men are 20, 21. Some of them are still in uni. Some of them haven't even entered uni. We fail to realize how much women are protected. The patriarchal system protects women, cater for women, provide for women, make sure that the women are perfect, make sure that the women are groomed, are programmed. If you come to most families, you will see the men, the boys, even training the women in the family. That's Africa, that's Nigeria. So you program young girls, teenage girls all through their lives until adulthood, and then you still expect them to bring home a man who is not ready for marriage. At 2021, how many Nigerian men at 2021 are marriage ready? Let's not even say financially ready, because things have evolved. A lot of young guys are getting it. But let's say marriage ready. How many are even developed to start thinking of marriage? All you'd hear is gachubego, go and make money, go. Some people are just starting off their life. Some people are even just getting into uni. Some people, they don't even get the chance to go into uni. Some people, they have to tell them, go and do your thing, find a way, get yourself sorted. And even those who go through uni, how many are ready financially at 20, 21, 22? The same age where young girls are probably finishing uni, or even some are in uni. And the pressure is still there to eventually get a suitor, get married, and start a home. So you have the situation where most Nigerian women eventually end up with men that are ready, even if they are not in love with the so-called man. So you have situations or situationships where I have a boyfriend, uni love, college love, high school love, whatsoever. You get into marriage. The statistics even shows that most first bonds, they're from exes. They're not from the man that most Nigerian women marry to. Like I said, this is not a justification. These are some reasons I feel paternity fraud is a huge thing in the Nigerian society. You see most women marrying men that are ready, not men that they are necessarily in love with. Another reason, there are so many reasons though. Another reason may also still be the swapping. Swapping, yes, swapping is real. Swapping is real. Yes, in 2024, it's real. Do you know how many women give birth in government hospitals? How many babies are being put in? The likelihood of baby swapping is real. So in this instance, and anytime you feel as a man, you don't have that trust or you don't believe that your kids are yours, as much as you're doing paternity tests, to rule out that swapping, you need to also do maternity tests. Some people don't even know that there is something called maternity. Yes, there is. You can test that that child is from that woman, your wife. As much as you're testing for paternity, because some people actually only do paternity testing and that's it. Most cases, some women even get confused. I'm not saying this is the case for it may not, because we've progressed, obviously. These things now are being shown in movies and people are aware. So the likelihood is like this. Doesn't mean that it's still not happening in 2024. So if genuinely your wife is saying this child is mine, you can go further to do a maternity test to rule out. If it comes out positive that that mother is actually the mother of the child, then you know that there is a problem somewhere. You know that she is at fault. That's when you start asking the right question. But if it's negative, if there is no link between the mother and the baby, then there is a likelihood that that baby is adopted or has been swapped. When I say adopted, let's go into another reason why most men carry kids that are not theirs, or they train kids that are not theirs. Long distance relationship. I know this is a sensitive one. A lot of men don't want to hear this because, oh, my wife is staying with my family. Everybody knows her whereabouts. This one, I've seen this one with my two eyes when I was doing long distance. With my two eyes. Long distance is a thing. Men who travel abroad, leave their wives for 5-6 years, then come back once. You come back once, and you think that once did the magic. Then all of a sudden you see a child. Most women adopt. Most women do what they need to do. If they feel like it's not sustainable, the way the marriage is set up, it's just not sustainable. There are so many reasons for paternity fraud within the Nigerian society. So many reasons. So many reasons. Am I justifying any? Nope. Do I support men going outrightly to their wives saying, oh, I think I need to do a DNA testing? Does that warrant women to actually ask for a divorce? I mean, in extreme cases, if I've given you my all, I don't even want to say if my husband comes to me right now and tells me to my face, I need to make sure that the kids that you have for me, they are mine, I would be effing pissed off. I don't know how I'd react. Divorce may not be the case. That's kind of extreme. I mean, what would you gain from the divorce? I would make you pay for that. The reason why most women are riled up on social media, most Nigerian women are riled up by that question, is the fact that Nigerian men don't realize how sensitive pregnancy is. I mean, for the genuine women, for the genuine wives, for women who they've given their 100% in a marriage. They've carried your children. They've never cheated. They've never done anything that would make you even believe that they are cheating on you. You wake up one morning, you walk up to your wife because of social media or unpopular takes on Twitter, on Instagram. You walk up to your wife and you say, baby, I think we need to do a DNA test. So I will confirm that these kids are mine. What? Nigerian men, come close. I know it's not all of you, some of you, because the ones I'm seeing on social media defending this rubbish, like I just can't. If you want to conduct a DNA test, you want to make sure that the kids that your wife has for you, they're actually yours. Why do you need to involve her in that conversation? I mean, you're the one who lacks the trust, who feels that you've been cheated on. Why do you have to destroy the bedrock of the marriage, which for me, the bedrock for every relationship, be it marriage, friendship, is trust. The moment you start having doubts, you need to clear your own doubt, not impose your own doubt on me. Because the moment you shatter that trust, or the moment you shatter, it's almost like, okay, men ask, why is it that women are getting riled up about this? It's like a woman or your wife waking up one morning. Maybe you've never cheated on her. You've never done anything of any sort. And she's suspecting that probably you've cheated on her. And she walks up to you and says, I think you're cheating on me. I need to see your phone. I need to see your documents. I need to see this to confirm that you're not cheating on me. How would you feel? I can't even equate both scenarios, because pregnancy is such a sensitive thing for most women. There are women who TTC'd for years and they eventually got their child. There are women who, yes, it was easy for them to get pregnant, but the pregnancy itself, the postpartum itself, the suffering, the body changes, the self-doubt, the self-esteem shattering, a whole lot of emotions that have gone into pregnancy. Doing it probably the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth time, or how many number of kids that woman has for you. You wake up one morning and you tell her to her face, I need a DNA test. How do you expect her to feel? To clap for yourself, okay, yes, uncle, you have done well. Yes, paternity fraud is a thing. We should go and do this DNA test. How do you think she would take it? If you have doubt and you want to clear your doubt, there are ways that you can take samples of your kids without her knowing, without it being a conversation, without bringing it up. You do it, clear your own personal doubt about your kids. I even saw some young guys on Twitter. I wouldn't even call them young guys. I don't even want to believe. Like, I don't know the caliber of men or Nigerian men. I don't want to say what to piss people off, but I read a lot of things and I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? What? Like, the divide happening between Nigerian men and women, it's crazy. You will even think, if you're just on social media 247, you may even think that in real life, Nigerian men and Nigerian women, they don't talk, they don't get along, they don't even marry each other because they hate. The divide is real on social media. I saw some guys on Twitter saying that it's going to be a subject of topic during the dating phase. Is something that has to be brought up. But are you like, you don't have anything else to talk about? You don't have visions to discuss? You don't have things to talk about or to discuss with a woman? Or you don't realize, or you think you're talking to a child or a baby? A woman that would still cheat on you will cheat on you. A woman that would go astray would go astray. It's even more dangerous to even have that as a discussion for most women who no, everybody where gets home training, get home training. Possibly before you can find out X. So there are things that I want to believe they are social media banters. I really want to believe that the things that these men discuss on Twitter or Instagram, they don't actually apply it in real life, because those are grounds. Like some women who go extreme to say those are grounds for divorce, I wouldn't even blame them, especially if I've been faithful, if I've been loyal, if I've given my all in the marriage, and you wake up one morning because you want to clear your doubt or because of social media takes, you are confronting me about DNA testing and you expect me to applaud and say, yes, sir, let's go to the hospital. No, even if for me, I feel divorce is extreme, but I'm going to make you pay. You're going to pay dearly because you have implanted in me a doubt that shouldn't be there in the first place. If you're doubting that I'm loyal to you, if you're signaling to me that if you feel like I'm disloyal to you, or if you feel like I'm not trustworthy, maybe you are not. Maybe there is some sort of, I don't know, within you. So you things would change afterwards. After that conversation, that marriage may not be the same. I may not look at you the same. but I'll make you pay dearly. Divorce is not me that'll bring out money for divorce. Divorce is not cheap. The way women throw away have been throw around divorce, the word divorce. These days, some men are looking for the divorce. Give them the divorce. Some men are happy to walk away from the marriage. They know they threaten men again these days with divorce. You don't threaten men again with divorce these days. It's becoming a norm. So there are ways to make them pay. You just have to meet them logically. As much as we're emotional beings, you don't feed on those emotions. You make them pay. But I bet you any conversation, especially with a faithful wife, a loyal wife, a wife that has given her all, that has given you children, beautiful children, you spark up that conversation. Anything you see, you take. That's all I can say. Anything you see, you take. But don't expect the woman to applaud you. Don't expect the woman to say, yes, sir. Let's march on. I don't know why the men or the Nigerian men I'm seeing on social media replying these women or saying that it's a red flag if a woman is refusing. Are you guys hearing yourselves? Men that think like this, are you hearing yourself? If you want to get a DNA test, get it. I'm in support of DNA testing. If you're a man and you feel like you need to clear your doubt, but not at the detriment of the trust your wife already has for you, or not at the detriment of the foundation of the marriage. If you feel like your kids are not yours, quietly behind her back, ask the doctors, how do you get samples? How do you do whatsoever? Do the DNA testing. And even if that comes out positive, do a maternity testing or whatsoever to test that the mom, to clear every doubt, not just one doubt, to clear every doubt. Paternity testing, maternity testing, to clear every doubt, so that when you're starting up the conversation, the true conversation of who the true father of those kids are, you have evidence. There's no amount of gaslighting that would make you stay. Whatever you choose to do afterwards, you can justify it. Everyone would justify it. But waking up a relationship that hasn't given you any atom of headache or any reason to doubt it, you wake up and sabotage that relationship because you're on social media, you're on Twitter, you're seeing people saying, yeah, you need to take care, it's a red flag, that's on you. Whatsoever happens afterwards, you can't even tell the woman how to react. Just like you guys are bossing people around or bossing some Nigerian women around on why they shouldn't think of divorce or why should there be a ground for divorce, asking for a DNA test. Most Nigerian women are marriage material. There are women who are not even inside marriage that have been prepared all their lives for marriage. Most Nigerian women, there is a fraction of people who do whatsoever, who are wayward, who are all of the bad things that social media exacerbates about Nigerian women. But I would say that a lot, at least the people I surround myself with, single, married, most of them have home training. Most of them are loyal. Most of them are marriage material. That is the reason why, as men who are ready to marry girls who are not in love with you, because let's face facts, the idea that most Nigerian women marry men who are ready, it's mostly true. And who is at fault? When women have been groomed all their lives for this marriage thing, the pressure to get a provider, the pressure to do a whole lot. The culture is embedded in all 250 something ethnic groups in Nigeria. The bedrock of the culture is, as a woman, you prepare yourself for marriage. At least that's what they preach. So, as a man who is getting ready to marry a young girl who probably may not be in love with you, may never be in love with you. People grow in love. There are some men who are lucky to find young girls who fall in love with them. It may be just the case of, for most Nigerian women, I'll tell you the facts, especially for my culture, you're expected to find someone who will cater for you. You don't just bring anybody. You don't bring the young boy you're bringing home, let him have money. The idea of the money thing is for you to live comfortably, for you to be able to train up your children, for you to be able to not suffer. That's the idea. And this is straight up, no sugarcoating. Every other thing is extra. You need to find someone who would provide for you. So what's the likelihood that most Nigerian women settle for the men that they actually love? The topic is broad. I can say a lot I can talk about a lot. I can discuss a lot of reasons why paternity fraud, it's endless. The statistics may not even be 30%. These are the people who were caught. The statistics may not be 30%. It may be more. But as a young man getting ready to marry a young girl, you don't want to marry your age bracket. For those 40-something-year-olds, 50-something-year-olds, 30-something-year-olds looking for young girls of 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You need to vet who you're marrying. Not just the family. Are you in a relationship? There are so many topics. There are so many things you need to discuss. Most marriages are arranged. Most marriages in the Nigerian society, most are arranged. Even if it's not like the arrangement of before. It's who I know. I know the family. My son, my daughter. There's a match. Most people is for, how will I explain it? The married to go up, maybe from the poor class to the middle class, or from the middle class to the upper middle class, or upper middle class to rich. There are so many reasons why unions exist. So long as love is almost inexistent in that union called marriage, you will continue to see paternity fraud. It's not stopping. It's not going to stop. So it's left for men to vet who they are marrying. Vet, not just vetting the family, the character. The person I'm getting married to, is there anything I need to know about her past? Is there any solid relationship she's already in? It's not about hurrying to do this, sponsor this, do that. Oh, my wife. You need to vet who you're getting married to some degree. Vet. I know even those who have done their research, done whatsoever, you can never tell. Things still occur. But there are so many instances which I would even love you guys to share with me in the comments why paternity fraud exists. So with everything we're saying, do Nigerian men deserve it? Nobody deserves paternity fraud. It's cruel. It's betrayal. It's the worst thing that you can ever do to a man, to shatter his ego, to shatter his self-esteem, to wreck him for life. Imagine finding out after 10 years, 14 years, 15 years, that the child that you've been toiling, suffering day and night is truly not yours. That would make a man hate women for life. You've broken any amount of trust that man would ever in his life have for a woman. It's the worst thing that can ever happen to a man. So I'd even encourage all men, if you're watching this, do it. But let it not be a subject of conversation. Outrightly, directly, confronting your wife, because these are things happening. And do it without her consent. Do it without her knowing. And then when you find out that the result is positive, you better do more for her. You better do more for her. Because there are so many men roaming around with kids that are not theirs. This is such a sensitive topic for a lot of people. I'd love to know in the comment section, why do you think that paternity fraud exists? Why is this so rampant in the Nigerian society? As a woman, do you think that your husband coming to you or your man coming to you asking you for DNA testing for the kids that you have for him, does it warrant a divorce? What would be your reaction? Would you trust him afterwards? Like, what's the case? What's the case going to be for you? And then for the men, if you find out that the kids that you have, they're not yours, what would be your reaction? Would you continue, like most women say, continue fathering them? They gaslight you with all these things. You don't hurt someone and tell them how to feel. I see so many women talking about, but they've already grown to love. What? How do you justify shit like that? Like how? They've grown so much, they've bonded, they've done this. That is the highest form of gaslighting. You cannot hurt someone and still tell them how to feel or what to do or how to react. If that man chooses to ghost you and your so-called children, no one will question him. He has every right because the kids are not his. So I would love to know. Let's get the topic going in the comment section below. Like I said, this is the first episode of the Talk to Me Nice podcast. Please talk to me nice. Talk to me nice in the comment section below. Hopefully by the time my camera comes, the setting will change. But let me know, what do you think about current setup? I'm actually comfortable doing this video this way. Since it's mostly talking, I really don't mind. The next episode will be next month. Hopefully, I see you guys in that episode. Give this video a massive thumbs up. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed. The season of this podcast is going to be long. It's going to run until August, where we just debate, talk about, chat, give opinion, give hot takes on different things happening. And you're going to see several guests as well come here. And if you'd love to participate, you can shoot me an email. My email will be in the description area below. Hopefully you enjoyed this particular segment. Let me know in the comment section, and I will see you guys in my next podcast. Bye.